Hi, this is Steve Adubato. Welcome to another remote, compelling, important program. We're thrilled to be joined by Dr. Dallas Reed, who is Vice President of Student Development and Campus Life at Berkeley College. Good to see you, Doctor.
Wonderful to be here, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Listen, whether we have students our son is a senior, who'll be in college next year. So many of our producers have students who have kids, sons and daughters who are going to college. How much pressure are the students at Berkeley or in most higher ed institutions facing, not just academically, but from a personal human behavioral point of view?
Steve, from every single dimension. I thought that it was tough in the Stone Ages when I was entering college, but I certainly couldn't imagine today, being a college student, compounding it with the COVID-19, the social unrest, the economy. There's so many different variables they're up against. So they've got a tough road ahead of them, but I have absolutely no doubt that this is a generation that is built on resiliency and the ability to adapt.
A few weeks ago, I interviewed your chairman, Kevin Lewing. Berkeley's one of our higher ed partners, and we talked a lot about innovation and leadership in higher ed. But one of the things that strikes me is no matter what you do to innovate and stay in business and meet the bottom line, you keep talking about vulnerable students at Berkeley. Who are these vulnerable students? So beyond business and beyond the economics, there are vulnerable students who have to be cared for in a certain way. Who are they, and what are the issues they face?
For our vulnerable students, Steve, that includes those that are first generation. That includes our veteran population. That includes our students that have specific disability needs. For us, it's those students that really have not had the pathway to college and really ensuring that we meet them exactly where they are, providing them with the tools that they need to be successful, and just simply being a support system. You said it beautifully. There's the business and the bottom line, but the one thing for us, it's about never forgetting that these are human beings. And they're really looking for us to build the next chapter of their lives. And for many of them, they have the desire, the wish, and the dream, but have no idea what the steps are to take to get there. And that's where we come in.
You talked to our producers, I'm not sure if it was a pre-interview, but I read this quote. You kept talking about resiliency. You see them, our students, rise to the occasion through adversity because they still have hope. Resiliency, break that down.
Absolutely. For us, resiliency, even before the COVID-19, many of our students sometimes are breadwinners in their household. They're caregivers in their household. They're working 2 to 3 jobs as well as trying to pursue an education. So now take all of those factors and now add COVID-19. Now add all of a sudden, the home confinement. Now all of a sudden moving to a virtual platform and environment. And what we saw in our students, number one, they're human. So they had all those natural fears and anxieties, but knowing that we were there for them and we continue to be there with them and for them every step of the way, what we found our students doing all of a sudden, Steve, was instead of shifting from what about me and what's going to happen to me, asking about their fellow students. We even had students say, how is the staff doing? How are my faculty doing?
Students asking about faculty and staff?
Absolutely, because you know what it is? That's that resiliency piece, but that's also just the heart of who our students are. For them to be in the space that they're in, facing all that they're facing, but yet to be able to say, how are you doing? Steve, I can tell you, there's nothing more powerful. I always said it's always a blessing every day when you can wake up and be a part of somebody else's journey. But to know that our students know that we care, but to know that that's reciprocal, that's priceless, absolutely priceless. And to me, that's the resiliency that I'm talking about and the heart of who our students are.
Listening to you, we've never met in this format before, but I got to tell you, something's coming across, and I could be wrong. You're an optimist, you're upbeat, you strike me as a very spiritual person. Is it fair to say that your attitude, demeanor, and the way you handle these issues is grounded in something deeper than what we see around us every day? You know where I'm going?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Steve. There is absolutely no denying. We know that we are probably living in some of the more difficult times that we ever thought we would face in our own lifetime. And like our students, I'm also human. But what I realize that every day when I get a chance to interact and engage with our students, I know there's hope for a brighter tomorrow. And like I tell our students, no matter what life throws at you, and God knows life has thrown a hell of a lot at us. I'm not sure if I can say that, Steve, but the reality of
No,
it
you
is,
can.
the reality of it is that they are persevering. These are students that never thought, number one, that they would ever be a college graduate, nor did they ever think that they could make this prolific shift in their lives to this virtual environment or platform. And not only are they doing it, but they're doing it successfully, and they're doing it with grace, and they're looking within themselves and saying, wow, I'm doing it. I was on a call the other day, a Zoom call with a student, and she goes, I'm so upset. I said, well, why are you, dear? She said, I got my grades. I had four A's and a B. I'm so mad at myself about the B. I said, wow, I wish I had those grades in undergrad.
Same here. Same here.
You know, and I had to remind her, I tell our students all the time, we are so quick to bring out the baseball bat and beat ourselves up, but bring out the feather duster and be able to recognize life may not be the way that you want it to be, but you are here another day to make a difference and move closer to your dreams. And so this is the core of who I am, Steve.
I could tell. Let me tell you something. We've been taping all day today, and this is the last official interview of the day. And I could not think of a more appropriate, more uplifting guest. So Dr. Dallas Reed, who's the Vice President of Student Development and Campus Life at Berkeley College, I want to thank you so much. Our audience gained a lot because I know I did as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Steve.
You got it. I'm Steve Adubato. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare. PNC, Grow Up Great. The New Jersey Economic Development Authority. RWJ Barnabas Health. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. The Northward Center. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey. PSE&G. And by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network. And by Jaffe Communications.
The essence of the Northward Center is ingrained in our values, thoughts, and actions. What began as a storefront on Bloomfield Avenue has evolved into a life-changing community nonprofit. The mansion is steeped in tradition, but with all of its grandeur, the true essence of the Northward Center is in the people we serve. So as the Northward Center commemorates 50 years of service, let's also celebrate the many opportunities yet to come.